Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, it brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Good morning, and welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am super excited to be here with you. And of course, as we're celebrating today the release of Jack the Library Cat. And of course, a good friend here to Story Time, Marietta Apollonio, is joining us. So please get settled, get comfortable, get cozy, get everything that you need. Like me, get your tea if you have to, and get it ready so you can enjoy this story. So this story time, whatever will make this story time better for you. Thank you so much for joining in today. And of course, we appreciate you being here with us. We do have a wonderful book. I've not actually received my physical copy because it is arriving today. Today is the release date of Jack the Library Cat. I'm excited. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time today. And of course, too, we've been saying Marietta is coming to Story Time for a long time, but well, she's here today. And so we get to hear more about Jack the Library Cat, the process, and of course, what she's feeling right now. So thank you so much for joining in. And please remember too that on June 3rd, we will be at Children's Fairyland for the Children's Book Festival with lots of creators out there. Come and have fun with us. Come and say hello, and indeed let us know if you're in the area, and indeed come on out and say hi to us. But of course, if you're not, let friends know who are in the area to come on out and join us. It is a special day today. Thank you for being here. And without much ado, please join me in welcoming to Storytime the amazing Marietta Apollonio. Welcome to Storytime.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, everybody.
Yeah.
It's weird to be on this side of things.
You made us wait.
Sorry.
It's been worth it though. Now I'm thinking, it's like, what are we going to advertise? What are we going to? Oh, yes. How
It's Henry. It's a family event. A family event.
Hi, Henry.
No, not right now. You can come back. It's a family event.
Right. Oh, love it. Love it. So tell us, the book is out now.
The book is out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very exciting.
I'm excited. And what was the inspiration?
So the original idea came from a friend of mine had sent me this image about there's an actual cat who had a family, but they lived near a college campus. And this cat would leave and go and visit the college campus and would sneak into the library. But the cat's family didn't want him in the library, and the library didn't want him in the library. So there's this sign on the door that said something like, Max is very cute, Max is very friendly, but we don't want Max in the library. And I was like, God, that's really interesting. Like, yeah. And so from there, I was like, well, what if there was a stray cat that just really loved story time and really wanted to be in the library?
Who doesn't love story time, right?
I know, right? Like, what happens? Does he get to stay? Does he make friends? Like, what happens to this cat? So yeah, that's where Jack the Library Cat came from.
Yeah, well, love it, love it. I love that inspiration for stories can come from so many places. But
Yeah.
and two, like I was thinking, I know that Ari and Megan, they're here today, as I'm sure you know, from Kentucky. And Ari has been looking forward to Jack the Library Cat. So do you have Jack the Library Cat at home?
Do
Are
I
you
have my own?
Yes.
Does this guy back here behind me count?
Ari will have to judge that, well, for sure.
I have a dog named Indiana, but I did grow up with cats. We just don't happen to have one right now. I'm pushing for one though. I've got this cat, this guy.
That is a really cool design.
Yeah, a friend of mine, Kim Hua, made this. And it's just like one of my favorite things right now. He's
Yeah.
gonna come everywhere with me.
Oh, no, I love it. I love it. I feel like there should be more so everybody out there can get some more. But yeah, before we go
I'll tell
further,
her.
please, please. I'm putting my hand up for one for sure. And just quick good mornings as well to Sherry Mello. Good morning.
That's my
to you.
mother-in-law.
Oh,
Hi.
welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Excited. Sherry, let us know where you're joining in from. Thank you for being here with us. And of course, good morning to you one more time as well. Megan and Ari out in Kentucky. And we have no idea who this guy is, right?
Oh, who's that guy?
Who's that guy? Yeah. Good morning to you, Nick. Thank you so much for joining in. Nick, multiple tasks this morning.
Yeah, he was my tech guy. He was my drive me to breakfast guy.
And the many events to come, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. I love it. Nick, thank you for being here. Love it. Thank you for holding that down for sure. Good morning to you, Amanda West, as well. And of course, Sarah and Nathan out there in Overcast and Cool, Illinois. And you say we're thrilled to be here for Jack's premiere reading. Oh, love it. Love it. Thank you. And we've all been waiting, right, Sarah and Nathan? We've been waiting through the changes, through all the supply chain issues, and we're here today. Thank you so much for joining in. And also have Ryan Johns joining us as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you indeed for joining us. Absolutely love it. And yeah, please always let us know where you're joining in from too. Kathy, good morning.
Hey, Kathy.
Thank you for being here. Stina, thank you as well for joining in. And you say happy book birthday. Well, happy book birthday indeed, Marietta. We're so proud for you and proud of you too. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. And of course, we'll be coming back to see who else is with us in here. I see Laura, I see Nadia. Thank you so much for joining in, everybody. And we'll be back to see more comments. And this one, I think you want to see as well before we move on. Pamela Courtney is in the house, and Braylon, Chad, and yes, Auntie Anne, good morning.
Hi, guys. Aww.
Chad has been looking forward to this.
I know.
Yeah. But I know that you had something that you wanted to show us too before we get started with Jack the Library Cat.
Yeah. So, when people eventually get into doing children's books, either writing and illustrating them, we've all started somewhere before that. So I actually wanted to share with you guys my very first book. Jack is not my first book. My very first book I made in kindergarten, and I was lucky that my mom held on to this, and I didn't even realize until like last year that it was a thing. I don't remember making it, but she held on to it. And so I took it back up to Massachusetts with me and scanned it all in. So I wanted to show you guys my actual very first book. And it is called My Book. By Marietta. And look at the cats. This was like meant to be, right?
I love that.
I had 2 cats when I was growing up, so I guess that must be them.
Yeah. What were their names?
One of them was Pilgrim, and the other one. I don't remember what the other one was.
Oh, I feel bad for the other one.
They were
Pilgrim and the
very
other
loved,
one.
though. So this was my very first book. I'm going swimming in the pond. There are a lot of fish in the pond. I am going to dive off my diving board. I will have lots of fun.
Oh.
I guess that's the fish in the pond.
Ah. And I
That
love that
must
it's
be
a
me at
pond,
the
not a
top
swimming
by
pool.
this.
No, it's a pond. I love
Yeah,
that.
and
Yeah.
some heart cats.
Wow. Yeah, no, I love it.
There's the pool.
Looks like a mushroom almost.
It does. It took me a minute when I was looking through it. I was like, is that a pool? Maybe. This is a turkey, a red carpet, a person, and a house.
Oh, wow.
So there was no actual story to this book other than, I mean, I guess there's a little bit of a story here.
Yeah, turkey on the red carpet.
That's my family. And I had a rabbit at the time. So there's my rabbit.
Aww.
And this is horses. Also something that I do right now is I spend a lot of time with horses. So clearly when I was in kindergarten, I knew some
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh, wow.
So that was my very first book ever.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And I don't know how much you would remember from creating that book in kindergarten.
Yeah.
And how are your processes similar now and how are they different?
I don't remember creating that book, but when you're a kid, I think you're a little bit like you're more free with your imagination and not worrying so much about what you're putting down on the paper. I think when you get a little bit older, try to keep that same imagination and try to, not worry so much about what's going down on the paper. But, adults overthink things sometimes.
Oh, no, the executive function is good for certain things, but definitely not for creativity.
Right. Yeah. So it's a bit different now.
Yeah. I
still use crayons sometimes though. So
yeah. And when would you use crayons? Like say in Jack the Library Cat, at what point would you
so for Jack, so it's funny, Jack, I didn't use any crayons on Jack, but this book I did all with traditional materials. So that's watercolor, ink, colored pencil. Sorry, I'm looking at the hard copy just to remind myself what I used in that. And probably, I think I used some gouache in that too. So this book is all mixed media, lots of traditional materials, and then a little bit of Photoshop because I'm a messy painter. And no matter how hard I try, I just sometimes just make a mess. So I need a little bit of Photoshop to clean stuff up sometimes.
No, that's amazing. It's good to hear that process as well.
Yeah.
But like you just mentioned that you're the hard copy of Jack. How did it feel finally having that hard copy in your hands? Yeah.
It was amazing. We actually came home from we went to Texas to visit with Sherry, who's here, for the week. And I had kind of forgot that I should be expecting author copies of the book.
Yeah.
And we got home probably around 5 p.m. one night from the airport, and there was a big box in our mudroom. A friend of ours had been watching our dog, and it was there. And I was like, I didn't order anything. What's this? And then we opened it up, and it's just, it's hard to really put it into words. You spend so much time working on. I think this one took me it was about 7 months or so to just get it all set and files ready, and then it's a bit of a wait and then there's supply chain issues, so it's a little bit more of a wait.
What's
Uh,
that?
but it was so exciting. I was so happy.
Yeah.
It's cool to I still look at it. I'm like, wow, I made that.
Yeah. Yeah. And uh, have you worked with other people on illustrations? Because I know this one you author illustrated, but have
Mhm.
you worked with other people on illustrations, or have you?
I've not. I not that I wouldn't. I totally would. I would love to
Yeah.
illustrate other people's picture books, but
Yeah.
right now I've just been kind of doing my own dummies and when I started, I just really had it in my head that I would be an author illustrator. But if the right story came around, I would totally
Yeah.
illustrate somebody else's work. I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
But I have a couple of other ideas and book dummies ready to, send out. So
Yeah. No. So at what point did you think like, well, I am going into writing? Because there's so many things that you can do with an MFA. But at what point?
BFA. Yeah, I have a Bachelor
BFA,
of
sorry,
Fine
yeah.
Arts. Yeah, when I went to college, it was originally I went to college for animation. I really wanted to work for Disney. But after first couple of months, my freshman year, I decided that I would rather do picture books. And then it took a long time before I got to the point, probably right around after Henry was born in 2016, I found that I had surprisingly a little
You
bit
mean
more
there
time
are people,
on my hands
that were
because
born that recently?
Henry was born in 2016. What? And
That makes me feel old.
he just turned 7. And I had a bit more time on my hands because I was staying home, and I thought like now is the time that I should be putting in the work to kind of do what I want to be doing. So yeah, so I did a lot of work to get to that point, but it was very quick. It all sort of just happened really fast. I found like the perfect agent. If Jem is watching, she is. I see her. She's amazing. Love her
Hi,
so
Sam.
much. She's fantastic. She's so supportive, and
Yeah.
we just like went out on submission with Jack, and yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been really great last couple of years.
Well, it takes a village, right?
Yeah, it really does. I have a weekly critique group, the Saucy Supremes, that Pam Courtney and Kathy Halsey and Janie and Melissa and Monique and Charlotte, and we meet every week, and they are just like this rock, this foundation for me.
Yeah.
Like
And
just
how did the Saucy Supremes get together? Was it just through
um
SCBI, or was
well,
it?
they were already a group, a critique group, and I met Kathy Halsey in I believe it was 2018 at it's like a Whispering Pines writers retreat. I had never gone to a writers retreat before. I had only just signed up with SCBWI. It was that point where I was like, I'm doing this. So what do I need to do to make this happen? Okay, I'm going to sign up for SCBWI. Oh, there's this writers retreat. I'm going to apply and see if I get in. And I see her. She's here, Pam Vaughn. She ran it, and she was probably the first person I met in the writing world. And I met Kathy at Whispering Pines, and just everybody was so supportive. It was the largest number of writers I had ever been around before, but I felt like so welcomed and just excited to be there. And at the end, Kathy asked if I was in a critique group, and I was like, "What's a critique group?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Well, we have one, and would you be interested in joining?" And so then I met the Saucy Supremes.
Oh,
And
so it was is Pam the scout?
I was invited into the group.
Is Pam the
Into the
scout?
family.
Scout for the Saucy Supreme. It's
I was
like where
invited
you go
into
out,
the
see the
family.
talent. Oh, I love it. I love that story. But I know that you have
Mhm.
so much to share, and you also have Jack the library cat
I
to share
do.
as well. So
I
maybe we'll
do.
get into Jack, and then
Sure.
we'll talk some more on the other side.
Yeah.
Love
right.
it. Thank you. All right. All yours.
All right. Jack the Library Cat, written and illustrated by me. So the end papers. Jack's walking off the page. He's going somewhere. Jack snuck through the doors of the library each morning. And there is a little friend of Jack's shows up throughout. See if you can find him. He's in this picture somewhere. Probably somewhere near the top left. And he shows up every so often throughout. Dozing with books, his ears filling with story time. Until crash. Ms. Fisher, the children's librarian, was not a cat person. For her, this was the last whisker. No cats allowed. Please keep him out. Thank you for your help, library staff. For weeks, Jack tried stealing back into the library. He missed everything about it. Story time, most of all. Other places just didn't feel the same. Then it happened. Someone new arrived. Jack blinked a slow hello. As he crept closer to the door, the boy held it open. No, no, his aunt said, pointing to the sign. Sorry, the boy said softly to the cat. Jack watched his hope scurry away. But then, creak, Jack sprung through. The room was filled with the chatter of children. Ms. Fisher clapped. Has everyone found a book and a buddy? Jack padded closer. The boy felt something brush against his arm. Hi again, he smiled. I'm Pascal. My cat Scruffer was like you. I used to practice reading with him. Oops. I think we're missing a slide. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Again, Miss Fisher asked. Cats are not allowed in the library. Ms. Fisher was still not a cat person. But now, Jack had a friend. Pascal arrived at the same time every afternoon. Jack and Pascal found a spot where no one could see them, and Pascal read to Jack. What am I going to do with you two? Miss Fisher asked. I'm sorry, Pascal began. Miss Fisher reached for Jack. You must really like it here, Jack purred. I'm not a cat person. Jack nosed her face. She looked at Pascal. I have an idea, Pascal said to Miss Fisher. Would anyone like to read too? Pascal looked at the cat. Jack? Pascal smiled as 10 hands reached for the sky. Read with Jack the library cat. And then there's just some notes about reading to animals and a note about library cats. So the first one is a note about reading to animals. Animals are great reading buddies. They boost confidence, motivate readers, and increase fluency. Jack doesn't mind that Pascal reads Jack and the Giant every time. Check with your local library or animal shelter to find out if they have an animal reading program. Animal reading programs don't only benefit us humans, but also give kindness and attention to our furry friends. A perfect combination. And if you happen to get the sniffles when furry friends are near, you can read to your favorite stuffed animal instead. A note about library cats. Cats have been calling libraries home for thousands of years. In ancient Egypt, cats were worshipped and welcomed in libraries. These days, they can be found in libraries and some museums all around the world, with the largest number of cats in Russia's Hermitage Museum, about 50 to 60. Some cats hold positions on staff and welcome guests. You may even find one curling up in your lap. But don't ask a cat where to find the book you're looking for. And this book, I dedicated this one to my son, Henry. And it says, for Henry, whose huge imagination and love of books always inspires me. Love, Mama.
Oh.
That's it. And there I am on my big wheels.
I love it. Oh, thank you so much. That was worth the wait for sure. Thank you. And you mentioned so many important things in there, and I know too in one of the flyers you had mentioned what you hope Jack the Library Cat would teach or help do. And do you just want to highlight those one more time? What are some of those things that I know you mentioned taking care of animals and Hi, Henry.
Compassion towards animals, understanding, being open to new things. Steal my cat.
Oh yeah, God.
That's my cat.
That's why you need more.
Inclusivity, finding a home, rescue animals, all that.
Yeah, no,
And
I love it.
reading, literacy, yeah.
Right, yeah, because it really I remember too that even when I was teaching first grade, we encouraged kids to really read to stuffed animals or and just to build their confidence, and it really worked.
Yeah. Our local library has a reading program, pause to read, and you can sign up for slots to go and read to the library dogs.
Yeah.
So because animals don't. You could read the same book over and over again, and they don't mind. And you can make mistakes. Mistakes are okay, and they don't mind. And I think it's just. You can have more confidence when you're reading to an animal as opposed to like a person.
Yeah. No, I've found that too at times. Even just a little bit of impatience can kick in with people, and don't give the space for young readers to actually grow into that.
Yeah. Henry will sometimes read to our dog Indiana. So yeah.
I love that. So with this whole process, with this really important book and fun book as well, and sweet book, really, what was the hardest thing going through the process?
The hardest thing, well, probably like trying to make sure that you met all my deadlines was the hardest. Well, because I had never done it before, and with traditional materials, there's not a lot of room for mistakes. If I made a mistake, at least 3 or 4 times I had to completely redo a spread because I made a mistake and it wasn't fixable, and no amount of Photoshop would have fixed it. So it was that. It was kind of getting down a rhythm, and I think the mistakes and having to redo spreads was probably the hardest thing.
Yeah. And then what was on the flip side of that? What was the easiest or fun thing to do?
I mean, even though the hardest thing was having to redo mistakes,
Uh-huh.
painting was fun
Oh,
because because I was layering materials, and it's just like it's kind of a fun way to be. And I tried to force myself to loosen up a bit for this, so straight lines aren't perfectly straight, right?
yeah.
Because I didn't want anything to be perfectly straight, like for lines. So I forced myself to loosen up and be okay with squiggly things.
Yeah. No, and just curious too, like how did you settle on Jack? Was that the image you had from the very beginning? And I wonder, do you
So
oh,
I wish I had chance to put those slides together, but there was like this progression from where Jack, when he first started, when I was just sketching out an idea, he was this cute little like just scruffy cat. And when we sent the book dummy out to publishers, he was kind of like a whitish gray. Um, so that changed. He's obviously not a whitish gray anymore. And he doesn't even look the same as he did in the book dummy. He's a little bit rounder. He's a little bit, and then I added all the little things like his stripes and the little circles by his eyes,
yeah.
and his violet colored eyes, blue nose. So that changed. And even he changed a bit during the process with the publisher creating the cover, because we went through quite a few ideas. And once we had settled on the final idea, we redid him a bit to just make him a bit rounder.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. And just, before we continue too, just a reminder to everybody that is joining in, if you're joining us now for the live or indeed later on for the recordings, that we have Marietta Apollonio here on Storytime Live, the author, creator of Jack the Library Cat, finally here on Storytime. So proud, so happy for you. And yeah, so just please go follow Marietta, find him at mariettaapollonio.com. And of course, you can find Ma Illustrates on Twitter and Instagram, as well as Marietta Apollonio Art on Facebook, and then of course on the website. So please go on and find out more. And now that we know, we've been advertising Jack, saying Jack is coming to Storytime, we don't know what we'll do. If only Marietta would write another book.
Oh, if only Marietta was working on another book right now. That'll be out next spring.
So exciting. But so just a little bit about that as well. Like, how is this process when you're still like there's the buildup of getting Jack ready and out right now, and then
Right.
also the process of
Simultaneously working on something else.
exactly.
Yeah, I just submitted interior revisions for next year's book, which is called Wombat and the Family Tree. And so, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to balance that. I would had to plan my days. All right, in the morning, I'm gonna work on creating spots for Jack and figure out like what I need to post and when I should post it and graphics. And then the rest of the day, I'm gonna work on the other book because I have deadlines. So yeah, but it was fun. It works out. It worked out.
I love it. Let's see some of the comments too that we have, and it's just amazing. Sarah and Nathan, they want you to know how much they love this book. Thank you for sharing it. Zoe the puppy enjoyed napping while being read to today. I love that. And such good themes from Kathy. Yeah, and that's what she says. He had a heart on his.
Oh yeah, originally he had his chest that's yellow was a heart.
Yeah. Aww. And why did you decide to
I did not. It was requested that it come out, but instead I moved the heart to Pascal's shirt. So it's still in there.
It's still in there. And Gabrielle says,
Aw, thanks,
beautiful book,
Gabrielle.
congratulations. And the kinfolk say they don't think the story with Jack is finished. They think he and Pascal had more to share together. So can there be another story?
I don't know. I guess maybe Jem and I will have to have a conversation about that. I'm sure they could sneak into other story times.
I love that. Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that too. I think I agree with the kinfolk. I feel like there's so
Yeah,
much more to come.
some library hijinks.
Yeah. So with like with having to work with your team, your agent, your
Mhm.
critic group, and so many others. Um, how did each support help you? How did each support help you just staying grounded in the work that was at hand?
Yeah. The Saucy Supremes are like, they're such an incredibly supportive group of women that, you can just sort of, if I was unsure of like what I was doing at whatever point I was at, I could go in and just lay it all out. And, and they're there to listen, and they were there to make suggestions, and they were there to just be understanding. So really helpful. My husband Nick always got an earful. And Jem Jem kept me from being too stressed out. And I could vent to her as well. So yeah, it's having people that you can, share if you're frustrated, or if you're not sure, or if something's going great. Those are, you need people like that around to be able to manage it all, I think.
Mm, hmm. And so moving forward, what's up for Jack?
Later today, tonight, actually, I have an in-person book launch and story time at my local indie bookstore, the Silver Unicorn in West Acton, Massachusetts. It's a pajama story time at 6:30. And I'm going to be doing some drawing and, reading Jack. So, and then I have a lot of library visits scheduled for the summer, and they're all on my events page on my website. And I'm in contact with some other bookstores for some signings. But yeah, that's it. Tomorrow, actually, I leave for Cape Cod to go to, I'm a faculty member for the Andrea Brown Literary Agency's children's writers workshop. So that'll be exciting for the weekend. Probably bring my copy of Jack with me, my little Jack character that Henry stole. So maybe I won't. I might not get it back. Well, I might have to make me another one.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's Jack will be around. He'll be, yeah.
Yeah. And was this a piece too that you had thought about the extra parts of being a writer, and that would come with that?
Scheduling all of the
Yeah,
event
no,
type
yeah.
stuff. Yeah, I figured it would be, just from all of the people that I follow on like Twitter and just from all the people I know with experience, and following people on Twitter. And I have a great debut picture book group, the PB23 bunch, if any of them are watching. Hi guys. And we're all just kind of learning together and figuring it out. So I knew I would have to start booking some events. But the children's librarian at our local library, she really helped me out with getting other library visits scheduled. So talk to your librarians. They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're like superheroes. And I'm working with my son's first grade teacher to go to his elementary school to read to them and do some drawing with them. So teachers and librarians. Fantastic people.
And just before we go to, just want to thank you for this amazing work, amazing book. Excited for you, and I cannot wait today. I actually receive, at least I was told my copy would arrive today, so I'm excited. I cannot wait to
I'll send you a book plate.
But,
I wanted to thank you because Henry and I started watching Storytime in 2020, and I think it was Auntie Pam, who I saw that she had shared it, and I was like, oh, we should check this out. Not like we're doing anything, we're stuck at home. And I think from the first one, when we commented and you responded, we were both like, what? Like, that was it. We were hooked. So I have to thank you because like what you do, reading every day and sharing books, it's just like, it's very inspiring and very comforting. And we love seeing you.
No, thank you. Thank you. It's just amazing when, to have creators like yourself come on here and just, share their stories and just, share their magic, and Storytime is not what it is without you all. And it's just, for me, that's just such a special part. And even, just the audience that come in, the people just come in to listen in and be a part of it. I think trying together to build a community, a space that is welcoming, a space that, wants to have dialogue, a space that wants to have difficult conversations at times.
Yeah.
Right? And so I feel like the space has grown in that regard. And a lot of it goes to, everybody in the community being in sync with what we're trying to do. So lots of appreciation to all of you. And, I think 2020 and just seeing how people have grown in that time, how I feel I've grown in that time. It's just, amazing. And to also see your book here now, it's just, this is the icing on the cake for sure. Thank you so much for joining in today. And everybody that was joining us today for Storytime, we've had the amazing Marietta Apollonio joining us from Harvard, Massachusetts. And thank you for being here. And of course, thank you, Nick, for all the work. We appreciate you. Thank you, Jack, for all the laughs as well. Henry as well. Jack. Henry too. Thank you. And so we wish you the very best in everything that you're doing. Everything Jack the Library Cat related, everything that you touch, may turn to gold. And looking forward to the next book as well.
Thanks so much.
Don't keep us waiting too long with that.
I'll try not to.
Because the pandemic is officially over.
I know. I know.
We shouldn't have any delay.
I have to deliver the paper myself. It will be printed.
Oh, Marietta, love you so much. Thank you for joining us today. Everybody that was in, thank you. And I must make it, I think, special mention too to Jem, right? Thank you indeed for all the work, and of course the Saucy Supremes. I want to say Sassy Supremes.
I know. Maybe we should change our names. I like that. We'll talk about it next week.
Oh, love it. Thank you. And yes, congratulations. Absolutely. Congratulations, Marietta. And I'll catch you on the other side. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody. Absolutely love it. Nick, thank you so much. And yes, this has been Storytime for today. This has been Storytime on this beautiful Thursday, May 11th. I have been talking about this date for so long, and it has been worth it. Marietta, it's been good to have you here. Please catch us again when we're back tomorrow on Storytime. Remember that this week, of course, Jack had to be here. This was planned a long time ago, so Jack had to be here. But we were celebrating mothers, leading up to Mother's Day, which falls on Sunday. We've been reading books that celebrate mothers. But of course, Mars is a mom herself, so why not?
I
Super
am.
mom here. We're celebrating a mom as well today, and we'll be reading this one tomorrow. Super moms, join in and find out what that one is all about. It talks about all the different, different species, different animals, and how the mothers really just play an amazing role in the lives of their little ones. And so just wanted to highlight that as well. Please join us tomorrow if you can. But of course, if you miss Storytime and can't catch us live, remember you can always find Storytime at storytimewithmrlamada.com, at Storytime with Mr. Lamada on Facebook and YouTube. This has been Storytime for today. Thank you so much, Marietta. Much love
You're
from
welcome.
me and Marietta today. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, it brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time. Whoa. Story time. Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh. Story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all reading? We just can't wait to be hearing